Hi everyone. We just had a fabulous kickoff of the Journey of Oz here at Unity of Nashville. We started our Sunday morning class today just getting the kids excited about doing the Metaphysics of Oz and asking them, what do you remember about the movie? And we introduced them to our mindfulness stations. Now, what we're doing here is we're taking this fabulous curriculum by Reverend Diane Benzera, called The Journey of Oz, and we're putting it in our creative lesson system format. Now, I want to remind you that that format always has an element of movement, creative activity, discussion and sharing questions for the children, and then great little creative play mindfulness stations to end your Hour on Sunday classes. So whether you want to incorporate more mindfulness at home or in your youth and children ministry program, I hope you can gain something from these weekly updates. So next week we'll be starting week 1, which is the lesson, The Journey to a Far Country Begins. And what we want to start class with is reading that lesson intention as a volunteer, as a leader. And the intention of this lesson is to understand that at various times in our lives, we all make the decision to travel to a far country in order to discover something new about ourselves. So the important thing about this lesson is to get the kids thinking about when they've wanted to kind of escape from life or run away, and kind of talking about what that really means for ourselves. We're going to begin the class. They're going to have had a movie night this Friday, so some of them might be eager to discuss The Wizard of Oz, and you can definitely begin class discussing the beginning of the movie or the beginning of the story. I know that for class this week we read the small version of the book. But what I would do is do that story synopsis at the very beginning of the movie where Dorothy is getting ready to run away and sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and she's just really kind of wanting to escape Kansas, and get the kids kind of remembering or play that beginning first scene. You don't want to get to the twister. You want to just stop at that very first black and white scene there. And then what you want to do is sit the kids in a circle and do a sharing circle. And in that sharing circle, you're going to ask the discussion questions here, which is, have you ever wanted to leave home? Why and what happened? What are some ways we can leave home without actually leaving? And why is it sometimes necessary for us to, quote, leave home? And you're going to get a lot of black and white answers, and the key is let the kids share. I know when even us as adults talked about these questions, we were sharing stories on what had happened when we had tried to run away from home. And I know my husband's mother used to pack him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every time he said he was going to run away, and pack him a little lunch, and he would just sit there on the steps. I know that I would go hide somewhere in my home. We've all had that moment, and the kids will be eager to share. And then what we're really beginning to do at that point is get them to kind of focus on, sometimes we don't have to leave home in order to leave home. And that's going to be our point, that we introduce them to the 12 yoga power poses, that we're going to be introducing. And those poses are going to be power from 12 Powers Yoga, which represents the Wizard of Oz. You can even incorporate Dorothy, which is life pose, and Toto, because she's upset about Toto, and Toto represents faith. So you can focus on one or all three of those poses, while you get the children ready for their reflection. Then I would have them sit in love pose or lay in release pose. Love, which we are representing, which is the Tin Man, or release, which is our water pose. So you could have them do those two as you do the reflection. Now the reflection is going to be the spiritual principle and purpose here. And before you have them go in a reflection, I would pick an older child to go point out and read the basic unity principles that align with this lesson. The first one would be, number one, there is only one power and one presence in the universe, God, who is all good and active in everything, everywhere. And then unity principle number three, I create my experiences by what I choose to think and what I feel and believe. And then we're going to have them settle in love pose and release pose and take a big deep breath. Let it out, maybe do a second one, let it out, and then a third. And this just gets them at a place where they notice their breathing. And as you have them relax their eyes and notice their breathing, you are going to read the ideas to teach and demonstrate here in your lesson plan for our reflection time. And those are, our life experiences are designed to wake us up to the truth that our power is within us. We need to travel within ourselves in order to discover new truths about ourselves. And we need to let go of our old thoughts and beliefs to make way for new ones. And then you're going to have the children repeat the affirmation aloud as you say, God is with me no matter where I am. At that point, you are ready for your creative moment. And our creative moments, I really love for this lesson. We're going to start to build our yellow brick road in the classroom. You can use part of a floor, or we can go into part of a wall. And we're going to start with black and white bricks, just like the movie starts in black and white and then appears in color. And you're going to have them take half sheets of rectangular construction paper and have the children choose as many as they want and write on these bricks or draw a picture of something that they're scared of, that has maybe made them want to run away before, and have them write that down. I've got one example here. My fear is that I will have to speak in front of people. I am afraid. And this one, I'm afraid of being made fun of. Have them do these bricks because we are reminding the children that there are times we get scared and we want to kind of run away from ourselves, but our power is within ourselves to shift that thinking. And sometimes it takes going inside and realizing that these are just fears and we are love, and that God is with me no matter where I am. And we absolutely create our lives by what we choose to think and what we feel and believe. And how can I turn that thought around, or how can I overcome that fear by going within myself and realizing who I really am? And that is power. You are the true Wizard of Oz because the true power is within yourself. After they've done those creative moments, they will be free to play at their mindfulness stations. Each week we have a set of stations. We'll have building blocks, we'll have Legos, we'll have color sheets featuring the Wizard of Oz, as well as drawing and some other great things you can incorporate. So this lesson's going to be awesome, and namaste as we journey to a far, as the journey to a far country begins.